Good morning. Good morning. Still letting people in. Everyone's showing up on time. I'm so proud of everyone. It's Wednesday and 11 o'clock Eastern, and people are on time. It's amazing. All right. We've got some amazing guest speakers for you guys today. I'm very excited to chat about this. I give the best job today. Well, that's not true. You guys have the best job. You get to sit there and watch and learn from these amazing people. I have the second best job, which is to get these four rockstar agents to spill their secrets for all of your benefits. So I'm very excited about that. We're talking agent to agent referrals today, which I actually think is probably one of the best lead generation sources we could be working on in this current market. It's a tough market. Nobody wants to get beat up making expired phone calls. Nobody wants to deal with delirious for sale by owners. There's so many options. None of them are attractive, but we're all here today, and I'll know that talking to your fellow agents is probably one of the best and most fun ways to generate business. These four rock stars have basically built a career out of it. And so I'm super excited to get their inside track. So we got a bunch of people in here. I want to reward you guys for showing up on time. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to kick off with Deb Johansson. So Deb, give us a 2-second elevator pitch, you and your background, and then I've got a great question to start us off with.
Hey there, I'm Deb Johansson, and I've been with Keller Williams for most of the last 10 years. And currently, I am the broker for our Florida division, Southeastern Partners, Keller Williams Southeastern Partners.
Awesome. All right, Deb. So I'm going to kick off with you. Deb just walked out of a closing. She's probably the most excited person on this call. She just got a
Yeah,
check.
yeah.
So Deb, you're going to bring that great energy to all of us. Here's my question for you. You've got a very strong business based on relocation referrals. How do you communicate your local expertise and your connection to your market to agents who are looking at you as a potential referral partner?
So as far as relocations are concerned, I've got a lot of experience. I've been chosen by relocation companies because of my experience. And I also have personal experience. My husband's Secret Service. So we've used relocation companies ourselves. So we know all of the horror stories. We know all of the good things that happen. And I think the biggest thing is just making yourself the most knowledgeable person in that area. And then when you don't know, you ask because you want to be the most knowledgeable person. You ask someone else. You go find Carly, Holly, Deb, ask, what do I need to know about relocations?
I love that. That's fantastic. So your lived experience has been a big part of
I've
your
lived
sales pitch.
experience. Yes.
I love that. That's fantastic. All right. Holly, I'm going to move on to you. Give us the quick background of you, your market, and a little bit about yourself.
Holly Poncell. I have been licensed as a realtor since 2014. Currently been with Keller Williams since 2019. And, love it.
Fantastic. I love that. All right. So from what I've got to know about you, you're in Golden Isles, a small market. Your reputation really matters there. What are some of the ways you stay visible and top of mind for other agents when they're looking for a referral partner in your area?
That's a great question, especially like you said, in a relationship driven market like the Golden Isles, where you are only as good as your reputation. And being a small town, everybody knows everybody. It starts with, professional networking, attending Keller Williams events, attending masterminds, retreats, ALC retreats, participating in Facebook groups, consistent social media presence, posting regularly on Instagram, Facebook, showcasing yourself as well as what you're out there selling. Reaching out to other agents, making those connections, saying, hey, I'm your referral person. You got anybody in this area? And, making sure they understand that, you're going to reciprocate also. Hyper local experience as far as restaurant guides, neighborhood spotlights, waterfront home trends, things of that nature, constantly, keeping the public and other agents informed.
I love that. So, I mean, you sound like the mayor of Golden Isles, if I had to guess.
Well, I mean, it's 1995 and I've seen a lot of changes. And so I do know a lot of people.
I love that. I love that. That is some great tips there. All right, Carly, give us your quick elevator pitch. Give us your background.
Carly Oxenreider. I've been with Keller Williams 7 years. And I started out in leadership as an assistant team leader in Tampa. My rock star team leader, Kimberly Horn, is, I can see her pretty picture. And that before that, I had been licensed in Georgia since 2014. And I have a small team that runs in Georgia and Florida. I'm the leader of our Kingsland office. Yeah, and I'm a market center investor. So I've done all the things in the last 7 years, but the referral piece is probably my favorite thing to talk about, coach and teach, and that's how I run my business. So
You left out the greatest title of all, which is the person who recruited me to join Keller Williams.
yeah, well,
That's another story altogether.
yeah, that we could have a webinar just on that conversation.
Exactly, exactly. If we have time at the end and everyone asks good questions, I'll tell you how Carly tricked me with a book that may or may not have been signed by the actual author. That's a story for another day. But all right, Carly, here's my question for you. You're really plugged into some great KW communities, KW military and KW luxury. Very different audiences, but I know that you serve both well. So how do those sort of niche affiliations help you attract and bring in more referrals?
So, being a military spouse for over 34 years, kind of like what Deb said, you live that experience, right? So you live those relocations, you live those transfers, the good, the bad, the ugly that can happen. And so I think when you take that kind of like real life experience and passion into that that audience, you automatically just connect better, right? So I always feel like when I'm talking to a potential referral agent, I let them know that I'm coming to them with personal experience. This is not just someone who sells in this market, right? So I can really connect with that client. So that's really how I handle that side of the business. The KW luxury is kind of a combination of, I always treat all of my clients like luxury at every price point. We've always done that. That's what we coach and teach in my team. So the way that we work with our military clients honestly just kind of transfers right over to how we work with our luxury clients. And also, like Holly was saying, be the go-to person to know, waterfront trends or, new construction or custom or luxury building, know those sort of tidbits to be able to be like the expert in your area. So
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. All right. Steve, last but certainly not least, you're here in South Florida. Give us the quick pitch on you and your background.
Sure. Nice to meet you all. It's nice to be here and talk with you. I've been a realtor since 2014. I was a former full-time musician before that, playing guitar and singing. I was a branded Margaritaville entertainer. I played all over South Florida, and I've sold everything from a $40,000 condo to a $6.6 million home on the water. And everything, every single dollar I've ever made with real estate's been through organic social media and referrals, and I've never paid a dollar for anything. And I come from a family with no money, like no no affluent background whatsoever. So I've done it all myself and through people like Dan and other mentors that I've leaned on for the past 10 years to help me build it. And I love what I do. I'm the founder of KW Golf. We've had it for 1 year and we've grown it from 0 to 950 people and all just organically. And I've gotten about 7 or 8 referrals this year from it. And my goal is to get 25 to 50 referrals a year. And I'd love
Well,
helping.
I love that. So you almost glossed over it. My question for you is gonna be to dig deeper there. So you started a Keller Williams community, KW Golf, which was based on obviously your love for golf. You got the shirt there and everything. How many members do you have in that Facebook group that you started?
950.
So Steve started a Facebook group and it's got 950 agents in there. My question for you is, how is being so targeted helped you attract agent to agent referrals um and how is aligning that target with your passion, you know, helped you in lead generation and growing the business?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's just what I love to do. Like I always go with random foursomes and join people, and that's how I meet people. And it kind of just clicked one day that if I lean into what I love more, I'm gonna enjoy the process more and have more fun doing it. And basically just it's the riches are in the niches, right? That's the thing that I keep thinking of. The riches are in the niches. So go deep into what you really know and what you love, and you're gonna attract like-minded people. Is that
Uh, yeah, I love that. Fantastic.
go
All
deep?
right. Go deep. All right. So for everyone watching, make sure you throw any questions you have in the chat. I've got a few keyed up here, but if you've got specific questions about for any of the agents here or how they run their business or how they get more referrals, throw them in the chat. I'm going to make sure they get asked. But just to start you guys off, and we'll open this up, everyone's input is welcome. One of the most common questions agents ask me when it comes to agent to agent referrals is, what markets should I target, right? Are there specific feeder markets? Do I need to target? Should I go more generally? So my question for the four of you is, how have you identified, if you have, specific markets that send clients to your area? And what have you done specifically to build relationships in those places?
Are you, anybody? You just want us to start talking?
Yeah, go ahead, Deb. You kick us off.
Okay. So, for me, my experience was that I was so eager when I first started out. I made myself available to all the top producers in my area, in my market center, and I was with Savannah office at the time. And I just did every open house. If they needed somebody to go and open doors for the weekend, whether they were going to pay me or not, I was there. I was available. I was the yes person. And I also began to seek knowledge. I found a mentor, even though I had a coach, I found a mentor and I followed her. And I noticed that she knew everything about the area. And I decided, okay, I'm going to go take a trolley tour on St. Simon's and I'm going to make notes because I need to know everything about the area. So what ended up happening is as I moved into, because I was an investor in Keller Williams Golden Isles, that opportunity came to me from number one, being rookie of the year in my market center because I was so involved and pushing myself, to number two, becoming the person of knowledge. So you want to engage, get on the ALC, do all the things, make yourself visible, go to all the meetings. And then that way you start to get to know people outside of your market area. And that's when your referrals come in because you're the knowledgeable person. And it only takes one person on Facebook to say, hey, you should call Deb Johansson. And then the next person's going to say, well, I saw someone say Deb Johansson. I would say that to everybody in a coaching group. Become very involved in all the things that Keller Williams has to offer.
Mhm.
Love that. What else?
I
What
want
else
to
is
piggyback. I want to piggyback off what Deb just said. Like finding a mentor. Like I think I truly, truly believe that my life has changed because of the people that I've leaned into and people that I've like attached myself to. Like when I first joined KW, I was mentored by some amazing people that just showed me like a different path to life and success. And I just kind of asked so many questions until they were tired of me. Like
Yes.
I would pick people's brain. That's kind of like my strength is I just ask questions of highly successful people, and I just extract as much info as I can to make myself better. So I would, yeah, leaning into the mentors and finding a coach like Dan is amazing, and it's life changing.
Love it.
Repeat the question one more time. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, that's okay. So talking specifically beyond that, so I love that. I think that Deb and Steve talking about plugging into those relationships, your all the relationships you have. But how about feeder markets? So Carly, when you're looking at people who are coming
Yeah.
into your market from other areas, where do you focus in?
So for the kind of the military client side, in Kingsland, where we have our office, there is a very large Navy submarine base that we have here. So the feeder markets for this base is Southern California, the San Diego market, the Pacific Northwest, the Northeast, and kind of the Connecticut, Maine area where there are other submarine bases, and then in Charleston. So we'll see sporadically people coming from other military markets, but those are kind of the 4 locations that are submarine bases. So we will do targeted marketing in those ads. We will target those markets, just to kind of pull in that traffic. And then we also will network with agents in those markets. So if they're the feeder markets, we probably step up our agent to agent interaction with them just because we know that there's more traffic. From the luxury standpoint, I would say, and everyone may have different ideas about this, but when I look back over the last probably 3 or 4 years, Chicago is a huge feeder market for us, Long Island, New York, and the West Coast, like anywhere from Southern California to like probably up the coast, honestly. So,
And Atlanta.
yeah, of course, Atlanta
and
is like
Atlanta.
yeah,
Yeah.
most people who have a place on St. Simons also lives in Atlanta. So it's like, yeah, for sure.
Love it. All right. So since you started to take us down that path, let's talk strategic, actionable items for someone who's on this call and maybe is saying, you know what, I want to get more agent to agent referrals. What do you specifically do to actively build your referral network or market for referrals?
I got this right as soon as you said that. So
Go ahead.
something me and Dan have been working on together is I got very, very clear and I went on KW Command to see where the referral patterns are coming to South Florida and like what cities are referring most to South Florida. And once I have those, like I know it's New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Carolinas, Arizona, Texas, so once I know where they're coming from, I send 20 messages a day to agents and team leaders in those areas, just lead generating for referrals. And I'm like, hey, we're seeing a lot of amazing opportunities here in South Florida. It's a hardcore buyer's market. Who do you know looking to buy or invest in South Florida? Some amazing opportunities. And I'll send like a Calendly link with the message and it so they can click on it easily and set up a call with me. It has my number on it. So that's
I actually just got one from you. It was a
there you
really good
go.
message. I
Good.
loved it.
I,
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna click on this link and I'm gonna set up an appointment with them. Yeah.
That's it.
I have a sample. I actually just threw it in the chat. I have a sample of that message that Steve sends. And one of the things I love about that um, is how simple and direct it is.
Yeah.
So give us some ballpark. Now Steve's going one step further for anybody who's interested in this. One of the things I'm proud of him for doing is not only did he develop this message in the script and he tested it out, but now he's got a virtual assistant doing it. So he's put some leverage in place once he figured out what worked. But give us some sense of the numbers, Steve. You're doing about 20 messages a day. About how
Yeah.
many of those do you think turn into uh, a Zoom meeting to build a real relationship?
I would say anywhere from like 5 to 10 people a week, like actual calls I'm having. And now what I'm also doing is I'm gonna be sending little treats to them after we've done the call. Like this is somebody Carly Williams. You guys know who she is? Carly Meeks. Well, she's an amazing agent in Wilmington. She goes, after you get off the call, ask them for their address, send them a little gift or like a coffee mug with like the KW Golf logo and their name and information on the mug. So it's not like mine, it's theirs, but I can have it co-branded for like $8. So it's like something a little extra to send them after we make the call to let them know I thought it was special, you
That's
know?
great.
Love that. Great
But,
idea.
but, but yeah, like five to 10 calls a week is pretty much what I've been doing. And I'm trying to model it off of Carly. She's saying she's having 2 calls a day. So if
Wow.
I can do 2 calls a day, like it's trackable. We just started tracking it, which I never did, right? So I was just kind of just hoping for something. Now we can actually track how many messages. I have my VA send me a weekly breakdown of how many messages he sent, how many people I had calls with. So now we can start to actually get some numbers here.
Love that. Who else has some specific action items? Carly, I know you do um an agent to agent newsletter as one of
I
your
do.
strategies.
Yeah, so we do a B2B newsletter that goes out once a month. That it doesn't mirror, it's very different content, but we also send our client newsletter out once a month. The B2B really gives some stats about our market. It talks about, I always try to put something in there, at least 1 or 2 good nuggets to use in their business. So I get content from you because you're my coach. We share some market trends. If we are doing an event or we've gone to a mastermind, anything like that, we'll put that in there. We also highlight one of our B2B testimonials. So we're really big about getting testimonials from our clients on our team, but we also get one from the referral partner. So when we send out the B2B newsletter, we highlight those testimonials instead of putting client testimonials, because really the agents are our clients. We do a lot of referral gifts. So we send these really cool battery chargers, portable battery chargers that have all of our information. It's got the KW military and KW luxury logos so they can remember kind of what our niche is, right? I love that saying that the riches are in the niches. I'm totally stealing that, by the way, Steve.
Sharing.
But but yeah, that's what we do. And then, we send out like, we just had a closing yesterday and we sent out this cool little tea towel that's got all this really cool Atlanta landmarks on it to one of our Atlanta agents. And by the way, that was a Sow the Bees agent. So I do want to point that out, that we have referral partners across all companies. I mean, we always love to work with our KW agents, but we look for the most talented, most referable agent in the market that we're referring. So
Love that. I will say, I'll add a tactical tip on there. If you're looking to find agents outside of the KW network, in a market that refers to you, right? You're looking for great listing agents in those markets. Homes.com is actually now the best place to go, because Homes.com insists on putting and fantastically the listing agent and their contact information on the page of the listing, right? So there's no confusion. It's right there. You click the listing, there's their name, picture, and phone number. I think it's one of the best ways to get in touch with agents across the country, because you can search any market, any price point you want. There's going to be all the listings. Each listing is going to have that listing agent's contact information directly on it. So it's a great way to I find a great way to find good listing agents and get in touch with them.
that's a good point, because I just recently joined Homes.com as like one of the preferred agents just to get more traffic and analytics on our listings. But one thing I've noticed is that it pretty much gives a whole bio on me. So like when I pulled up myself, it had how many years I had been in the business, how many transactions I closed, the percentage of buyers versus sellers, price points. Like I didn't have to give my resume. It was already on Homes.com.
Yeah, they've got a great website, and you don't even need to pay to get access to the list. Everyone, you can just have a consumer account. You could just go to the website. You don't even have to log in, and it will let you see their contact information and get some details on them. So I think it's a great resource for us to use for this purpose. What other Deb or Holly, do you guys have any other strategies you like to use to get leads from referrals?
I actually used homes.com to pick out a referral agent this weekend. So interestingly, you say that.
There you go.
Been talking about homes.com, and I had gone and couldn't find, actually in the particular little area I was at, Keller Williams was not predominant. So I said, okay, I've got to match my best client with the best person with personality, and bingo. So I would say that is probably my biggest aha lately is, being able to match people, whether they are with Keller Williams or with not Keller Williams. But I think we're all doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing Steve is doing, is, getting on Keller Williams Command and looking at where our people are coming and going from our area and reaching out to those people and asking for it.
Yeah.
Ask for the business or you're not going to get it.
Yep. I love that. That is fantastic advice, regardless of what type of lead generation you're doing.
So
Go
Dan,
ahead.
I just want to add to this. It's a little slightly not what you're asking me, but I see a fair amount of brand new agents on here. So I just want to take a moment to plug these type of conversations, these type of classes. You're new, don't expect to be operating at the level of Carly or Steven, who's been in the business for a long time, or Holly. You're new, so just be involved in these conversations because you're going to pick up a nugget from every conversation you're part of. And the more you get out of your market area and mingle with people from other areas, that's when you're going to find these referral opportunities and find your niche.
I love that. That's great. That is fantastic advice. Deb, I'll take it one different way though. The coach in me immediately says if you're brand new, you shouldn't be intimidated by Carly or Steve and their success. You should set out to best them because they've got all kinds of things distracting them. And the benefit of being new is that you don't know any better and you could get on. And the power of social media, right, is that we're all here because of social media in some way. And it's socially acceptable to lead generate on this thing 24 hours a day, especially if you're going to harass real estate agents. So if you're new, if you've got a dual career situation, I would lean into this situation and I'd be sitting there going, how am I going to get more deals than Steve by texting every Keller Williams agent in the country in my spare time? But I love that. So, but Deb, here's the thing you opened up though for someone who's thinking about getting into a referral-based business. Why don't we go the opposite way? What's a mistake you think agents make when trying to build referral relationships?
I think the biggest mistake is not having enough confidence to be the person that raises their hand. You are it. You are it. No one else is it. You are.
I would have to say, I'll jump in because I just had this happen the other day, and is, wanting to take every referral that may come your way, right? So like the way that we talk about, verifying someone's motivation when we're talking to a seller or a buyer, right? Like pre-qualifying them. I really think that when someone sends you a referral or they want to send you a referral, you just don't immediately agree to it. You need to have a conversation with that agent and find out exactly what are they looking for, because it may be something that doesn't necessarily fall within your niche or your model and how you run your business. And a lot of times I will say, this doesn't necessarily fit the business that we're doing in our team and are in our market, but I know a great agent. So let me send you the name of a couple other agents. And I've done that in the past. And when I first experienced that, I was worried, oh, I'm going to lose that referral agent. They're not going to come back to me. It was actually the opposite. They loved that I gave them someone, and I'm getting nothing out of that, right? That's just me making sure that the relationship comes first and then the referral.
Yeah, love that. Really, really, really knowing who you serve and who you're right for is such a huge benefit. Steve, you had something to add to that?
Yeah, like I think if you're talking about newer agents, like advice, like I've obviously been in your shoes, and like I'm not here claiming to be the best most productive agent in the world, but what I am good at is staying learning based. And I
Yes.
would get off your couch, go to every event you can, go to every class you can, get off of your couch and go find people that you can connect with. And like that's the only way that you're really going to build lasting relationships is by just get out of your house. Get out of your house. Like get out of your house and like I going to events like Mega Camp and Family Reunion are a mega boost. Like you guys like Mario Kart. When Mario would get like the star and he would go super fast for like a minute, whatever. That's how I look at Mega Camp and Family Reunion. Like it's a boost. So like take advantage of that stuff, you know? Like that's
And
what I
And I would even dial it back. If you are new and you have not done Ignite, if you're not on every Ignite class, if you haven't decided that the next bold that comes up is your bold, you're making a mistake because that's how we learn to do this.
Yeah. Just getting being okay with being uncomfortable. But the more and
Yeah.
more you do it, I mean, I've been doing this for years, and there will be times when we're talking about referral business where I'll have a referral agent who hasn't personally worked with me, and they're like, I'd like to set up a Zoom to basically interview me. Like I still get interviewed for referrals.
Mhm.
And it may be a $300,000 starter home or a $1.2 million beach house, right? So the way I go into those interviews, though, is the same. I talk about my testimonials. I talk about my value. If they want to talk to other agents who have been referral partners, I have a handful that I'll send them their contact information and let them know that they're going to receive a call. But when if we're talking to newer agents, I would say too, use the experience of your team, right? If you're on a team, or use the experience of some of the people in your office, right? We work as a team. Pull your broker in, right? To be someone that you can talk about the combined experience and value that you can bring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all are experienced, and I still will say, Holly, what do you think about this? Carly, do you agree
Yeah.
with this? Clint, what do you think? We all do that. So if we're doing it and we have 10 plus 20 years of experience, why wouldn't you be doing that?
Yeah.
We want you to do that. We're not too busy for you.
And not only that, but the reason that we're experienced is because we all started at zero.
Mhm.
And that the only way you're going to get experience is if you start. So don't be afraid. And remember, like if you're a newer agent, you do have the goods. You have the grit and the hunger that some agents that are really successful don't have anymore.
We lose it.
You lose it. So in a lot of ways, you have the goods even more because you're hungry and you're ready to rock, you know? So use that fire and just know that you do have what it takes, man. You know, you do have it.
Also, I think I'd like to add, you also, if you're a new agent, be humble enough, be honest. If somebody asks you something and you don't know the answer, tell them, I'm not sure of that answer, but I know exactly who to go to find the answer out. I will be right back. That's okay. We were all there. Like Deb said, I still rely on other agents, even being in the business 10 plus years. There are certain circumstances that come up and I need a second opinion. And it's okay to say, I don't know, but let me go find out and I'll be right back.
But we're not selling all apples. We've got all the fruit, and sometimes they're rotten. And so we have to help each other. So
I love that. I love that, Holly. That was my team. That was always the day one first thing I taught everybody who joined my team, which is the number one script was, that's a great question. Let me get you the correct answer and get back to you. Because if you know that script, you can get through anything.
Love it.
That's fantastic. All right. Any questions from the audience? I've got a couple more, but let me open it up for a second. Anybody have a question they want to, you can unmute yourself and say the question. You can throw it in the chat.
You must be blowing their mind.
Well,
They'll be shocked how long I can sit here and wait and make people uncomfortable. Go
I
ahead, Clint, you got something.
To piggyback a little bit on what you're saying about asking for help, you know, if you are brand new, it's say, hey, I'm not sure of that, but let me talk to my business partner. We're all business partners. It's not gonna it just a little change of wording makes it sound so much better.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, you don't just get to piggyback, Clint. You got to ask a good question. So you got 4 rock stars here. What's your hottest question on how you can get more referrals from other agents?
Well, I've been reading the chat a little bit there, and I'm getting some good tips, and obviously what you're talking about here. So I am signing a referral agreement right now, but don't sleep on referrals. That's just all I can say. Don't sleep on referrals.
I love it. Thank you. Anybody else have a question?
Yes, hi, this is Lauren Coombs from Long Beach, California. How are you
Hey,
guys?
Lauren. Excellent. Welcome from California.
Thank you. I'm driving, so I'm sorry my video's not on, but I am with KW and I focus on commercial real estate. So are there any thoughts on this same, referral-based system and if it would vary on commercial, or has anybody had any luck doing it for commercial?
Well,
Okay,
I will,
Carly.
well, I'll just say this. I mean, and I would love to hear other people's comments. I feel like there is a ton of opportunity with commercial, regardless KW commercial, any commercial. We get questions a lot of who is your commercial referral partner. And to be completely honest, we really just don't have any. And we have
Right.
very, very few in this area. We have like one. So if there's anybody on this call who wants to become a commercial agent, please call me, right? But I always think that there's so much opportunity to do referral business in commercial because it's even more relationship based than residential. That's how I
Right.
feel. Like there has to be a really good level of trust when you're talking about referring a commercial client. Like, what do you think, Dan? Like,
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I got very excited, Lauren. I've got a bit of a commercial background. I think there's commercial creates some interesting opportunities for different types of agent to agent networks. So to Carly's point, networking with residential agents to refer commercial opportunity to you is tremendous. Most residential agents do hear about commercial transactions. They don't have a relationship that they can refer those to. So I think that's an interesting way to go about it. I also think, depending on what type of commercial business you do, you have feeder markets in or out, right? And so I know a lot of people, depending on where you are in California, a lot of people have had, commercial people moving out, and there's always people moving in, and we have a lot of that in Florida here. And so there's great relationships, again, with both commercial agents in other markets. That can definitely work. I know a couple of commercial agents down here who are building really strong relationships with commercial agents in New York and Connecticut who are referring clients down here because they're opening South Florida operations or relocating to South Florida, and those agents in those markets are able to get referral fees. But interestingly, I think I was just having this conversation with a luxury agent the other day. I think the luxury agent commercial agent referral could be a really unique and special one because usually those two things go together. Someone's moving their business. They are either going to move the business first or they move themselves first and bring the business second. And so really building that relationship in the luxury space where you've got agents who say, hey, who's shopping, who's shopping for a home and they're going to bring a business to my market, right? And can I be your referral partner there? Or vice versa, to be able to earn referral fees by saying, hey, I've got this person, they're coming to take warehouse space or office space. And I know that once they move the business, they're going to want to buy a beautiful home. Can we have a referral conversation there? I think that's a real interesting opportunity.
Can I add to that?
Go ahead, Deb.
Don't be afraid. Okay, is everybody part of Eddie Seed's referral network?
Sounds
Like
familiar.
on KW, Eddie Seed? Almost all of us are. It had to start with like 5 people. Let's do this, and it grows and grows and grows. There's so many Keller Williams referral networks on social media. Don't be afraid to start your own and then put in these other KW referral. I am starting a Keller Williams referral network for commercial agents. I mean, look, when I first started real estate here in Golden Isles, they did not have an open house Facebook page. I created one. How many people know I created it? Everybody uses it. They have no idea Deb Johansson did that.
Mhm.
thank you, Deb.
I did a bus in my first year of real estate. I did a bus tour of new construction homes. I posted the hell out of that on on social media. Now everybody knows I will go outside the box and do crazy things. Don't be scared to do things that are not you don't feel like you're qualified to do.
I want to also piggyback of what you're saying about commercial agents and luxury agents. So from personal experience, I've become really, really good friends with a commercial agent here in South Florida, and he wants nothing to do with residential, right? So I just got clear to close yesterday from a referral he gave me for $1 million in Naples, Florida. And
Wow.
he wanted nothing to do with residential. He sent me 4 deals in the past year. And he just moved to North Carolina. And guess what? He's gonna be sending all his residential business to me. So like think about that. Like build relationships with commercial agents because they may not want to do residential at all. Just like I
Mhm.
have zero desire to do commercial.
Zero.
Zero. 'Cause
Love it.
I know nothing about it and I don't want to get sued. So
Holly
Love
does
it.
it and she's good at it. Holly does commercial.
What
She's
else
good
good
for
at it,
you.
people.
A lot of my commercial business also comes from residential. So a lot of my residential buyers and sellers also own businesses and have property that they want to sell. And if you do look at the MLS, at least in our particular area, we don't have a ton of commercial, but you do see a lot of residential agents also dip their toes into it. So, I mean, I literally had very little commercial experience, and I had a Budweiser distribution plant land in my lap, and I listed it and had no idea whether or not it would sell. It was a very buyer specific property, and within 3 months, we had a buyer and we sold it. And I learned a lot on that, but I also knew who to lean on to get answers. And I'm primarily,
Bingo.
but I don't turn it down.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I
Bingo.
love that. And some of the comments here, talking about, it's a relationship business and connecting with people. I will tell you, so being primarily in the coaching space and real estate agents being my primary customer, all of my lead gen is targeted towards agents. I will tell you, agents love to communicate and talk to people, somewhat self-selecting group. But you can DM almost any agent in the country cold and say, "Hey Clint, how's business?" and they'll respond to you. And I will tell you that I send about 80 to 100 of them a day, and I get about 80 to 100 responses back. Almost everyone will at least say, "Good, bad, don't talk to me," something. Agents are always willing to communicate. We're all on social, especially on social media. Everyone's there posting and looking and waiting for something to come in. So be the thing that comes into their inbox and gives them an opportunity to talk. And
I
along
have
the
a
way, you meet different people.
I have a question for all y'all. Are you believers in doing a little bit of everything and things you don't like to do also, or are you the kind that is the one you want to quadruple down on what you love to do and what works for you? I'm just curious.
I like to quadruple down on like what I like to do and what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Same thing here.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but that is a great question, especially right now coming into the second half of the year, right? I'd be the bearer of bad news that it's June 4th, which means that if you don't get a deal signed up, if you don't get a buyer in contract probably in the next 48 hours, you're not closing any more deals, surprisingly, in the month of June, which means you're going to be in the second half of the year. And what I told all my coaching clients on Monday was, if you're behind or not where you want to be on your goals, July 1st is the first day of cut the shit, part of my French. And the reality is it means you have to double down. Every agent is susceptible, myself included, and everyone here, to, well, let me go do this or let me go do that. But the success always comes from quadrupling down on one thing. And so I love that question, Steve, because if someone's sitting here thinking maybe I want to do agent referrals, my advice would be quadruple down on it until you get some business.
Right.
I'll give you guys a couple minutes to think of some other questions. I want to just sort of end with tossing one out there. Carly, you had touched a little bit. You mentioned, and I think it's relevant that we talk about this, which is that the agent who sent you the referral is also a client. And so my question for the four of you would be, what do you do to make sure that that referring client also has a good experience? Any tips or tricks on managing that relationship once you've received a referral and you're trying to get it closed?
So we're constantly trying to improve that system. I have a great operations person, and I also have a transaction coordinator. And so they've really started working kind of in partnership to make sure that the transaction coordinator is touching base like on the milestones of the transaction, just giving them an update, because what I was finding is I was getting so busy and everything was going great that I wasn't kind of keeping them updated through the process. So now we've put more of a system behind that. So we have a tracker, and I make sure that there's that communication going out. And then when they close, we have an email that goes out, lets them know that it's closed, and that the attorney will be, sending their referral check. If they don't get it within 7 to 10 days, please let us know. Or if they want it wired, like, we try to kind of give that like concierge service on that, because we've had so many checks get lost over the last year. I know I can't be the only person that's happened to. And then just like we do with our clients, we very quickly kind of ask for that testimonial and kind of how we did. And we've actually had some of our referral partners who are still our referral partners say, hey, everything was great. They said you did a great job. I would have probably liked a little bit more communication, or I would have liked to have known this. So we do get that feedback and use it.
Love that. Anybody else?
I've been giving my referral partners, when we close a deal together, I'll send them a KW golf shirt. If it's a big one, I sent them like I had. So here's a perfect referral example. I met an agent from Maine from the KW Golf Group, right? He owned an Airbnb in Fort Lauderdale. We met and played golf 3 times. We had a great time. He had it listed with someone else for way higher than what it should be. He liked me so much that he fired that agent and hired me to list it, and we just sold it. And I sent him a KW Golf hoodie, and he rocked it when he was playing some sick golf course, top sale in the Carolinas, I think it was. But he rocked that hoodie, and he was so happy, smiling ear to ear. So little touches like that is what I've been working on.
Love that. People love gifts.
Yeah, of course.
Holly,
Hey, Dan and
Deb.
Steve.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I
No,
would say,
hey, Dan. I'm sorry.
nope, that's okay. Go ahead.
Well, hey, Deb, I'm kind of ashamed to say this, but I'm part of Golden Isles too, and I don't think I've ever met you or Hallie before. Now,
Well,
Carly's a rock star, but I've never met you and Hallie, so I've got to make that change.
Holly and I we helped
Original.
launch Golden Isles.
Well, thank you.
I was
Thank
an
you.
investor in Golden Isles. Sorry that we haven't met you. That makes me sad. But
No, I'll make the effort to come introduce myself to both of y'all. So I'm ashamed of doing that, of not being able to reach out. But you said not to be afraid of things, right?
Yeah.
Me jumping on the Zoom call. If you ask Carly, she probably would not think or say that I'm intimidated by anything, which I'm not. But for some reason, this phone call is, because y'all are, in my opinion, just experts in the field. So I don't really have a question for y'all. I just wanted to introduce myself to you. Dan, Steve, loved hearing everything you got to say. I'm motivated. Sorry, I don't have a question for y'all, but I wanted to speak up and get over the stage fright and just say hello.
There you go. Well, we
hello.
appreciate it.
Hello.
How's your
That's a
business going?
first step.
How's your business going?
Sir, it's doing really good. I'm a dual career. Well, I do about four or five different things. I farm. I instruct the Marine Corps at Kings Bay. Recently partnered with another KW agent here in the Golden Isles, and our business is doing phenomenal. I thank God every single day. I went last year with 2 transactions. For this year, about 20 million in listings. So I'm pretty excited.
That's fantastic. Good work.
Thank you.
And KW Land is your networking group. If you know farming business, boy, that one is untapped.
Yeah, that one's
It
big.
is
Really good.
It is. But my goal is luxury.
Well, I know a lot of, they might not look luxurious, but I know a whole lot of rich farmers here in Florida.
We got
Luxury is a relative term, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. Well, thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I
Thank
know that
you.
I speak for everyone on the panel, for you guys, Carly, Steve, Deb, and Holly, for sharing and making the time to share. Obviously, you guys love the industry and care about people who are in it and seeing everybody be successful. So we appreciate that.
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Clint.
So I know we talked about like how like the paths and different things on how you find your referrals, who's moving in and out of your area and how to make those partnerships. Now we've got a Marine base here. based in the Albany, Georgia area. We do have a Marine base, but it's not a lot of active duty. So how is there any way that any other advice to find the flow of who's coming and going and where those areas are?
Command migration patterns.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can also, if you just honestly go on ChatGPT and ask where people are moving from to Leesburg in Albany, Georgia.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I would say
And
if you're trying to get a connection with
Base.
the military base, right? Then what I would do is if you don't have anyone in your sphere who is, retired Marine Corps or that has connections at that base, then you want to look for some sort of like community involvement or volunteering opportunities to be able to get involved. And that's kind of like your foot in the door, honestly, is that's always been something that I've used in my business in every market I've moved to. Is I always start with philanthropic and community groups to make connections because it's just something I'm
Yeah.
passionate about. Yeah.
Exactly what she just said. So I did Wounded Warriors, and remember I talked about the bus tour.
Mm-hmm.
We had Wounded Warriors. We did. We had a lender involved. We first started out with just a buyer brokerage so that they understand like what happens, and then on the bus tour we had the lender with us. But it was philanthropic. It was with Wounded Warriors. So just making yourself, and then once you do it, like I said, post it. Make sure that you're visible so that other people, they're like, oh yeah, I did see a guy, he was doing some stuff with the military at this particular military base. So you do become the person that they're going to refer to.
And I will say
gets
that, I'll
out
just
there.
put this one little plug. You do not have to be military or prior military or family of military to be part of KW Military. You can just be a supporter of military families. So Clint, you can be a part of KW Military, of their groups, and they have a lot of, I will say this, they have a lot of great content, a lot of great learning opportunities and networking opportunities for sure. Great question there.
I want to throw something out there also. KW Golf wouldn't be in existence if it wasn't for KW Wellness. So KW Wellness has these different affinity groups underneath them. So it's like, and then they're all free to join, right? So you can have like KW Yoga, KW Pickleball, KW Golf, KW Peloton. There's like a bunch of them. So if you have something that you're passionate about and you think there might be something there, reach out to me and I can set you in touch with Kimberly Geary from KW Wellness to make your own community that you can invite people to for free also. Just throwing it out there.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Love that. All right. Well, thank you all. We're
Thank
going to
you.
circulate. I recorded this, and so we're going to get it uploaded later today, and then we'll circulate it out to everyone. Thank you guys again. Remember, these amazing agents didn't just spend their time just to give you all their secrets. They are your referral partners. So if you're not in South Georgia, South Florida, Stevenson, Southwest and Southeast Florida, or South Georgia, these are your people. And make sure, get connected with them, connect with them on social media so they can harass you and book a Calendly call. All right.
All right,
Thank you,
thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
All right,
Have a great
bye.
day.
Bye-bye.